Hello, my name is Caitlin Albright. I am here today with Dr. Ross McQuivey, an OBGYN from Stanford University. We will be discussing vacuum-assisted delivery technique. Dr. McQuivey, Dr. Vaca and yourself stressed the importance of the flexion point in cup application. Where exactly is the flexion point?
The flexion point is defined as 3 centimeters forward of the posterior fontanelle along the sagittal suture.
What are the indications for vacuum-assisted delivery?
There are 3 classic indications for a vacuum-assisted delivery. The first being a prolonged second stage of labor, the second being a non-reassuring fetal heart tracing or potential for fetal compromise, and the last for the maternal benefit, most often maternal exhaustion.
With that in mind, what are the contraindications?
The contraindications include gestational age. Most people in the worldwide literature recognize that 36 weeks and above is safe for a vacuum-assisted delivery. There's some literature that goes to 34 weeks, so 34 to 36 seems to be a bit of a gray zone. It's my personal preference to stay at 36 weeks and above. Other contraindications that are included are bone demineralization disorders and bleeding disorders that are known to the fetus. A non-completely dilated cervix, a baby who is not engaged in the pelvis or is a bit above a mid-station, and last but not least, and most importantly, unknown position of the fetal head at the time of delivery.
With a mid-pelvic delivery, what angle should the pull be directed?
Axis of traction is of utmost importance when conducting a vacuum delivery. It's important for physicians to understand that although the start of the pull may begin towards the floor when the baby is in a mid-pelvis, as the baby progresses further down in the pelvis, the axis of traction will change and become almost parallel, just slightly above parallel to the ground, just as the baby crowns at the outlet.
Is there ever a situation when an oblique angle of traction is appropriate?
No. An oblique angle or a rotational force on the cup is never appropriate for a vacuum. There are times where physicians feel that because the baby is asynclitic or oblique, that an oblique angle will help realign the fetal head with the maternal pelvis. But we must keep in mind that most important is we get the cup over the flexion point and only pull along the axis of the pelvis, which is never an oblique or rotary force.
Is it true that one cannot really apply too much pressure, as a pop-off will occur, preventing fetal injury?
That's a common misheld belief of vacuum, that if someone applies too much force to it, that it will inadvertently come off the fetal scalp. We know that any sort of pop-off or detachment increases the rate of complications associated with the baby. The emissary veins that support the scalp originate in the brain of the baby, so it's important that we don't provide excess traction and then a sort of violent detachment that causes or that occurs when the vacuum comes off the fetal scalp.
What do you believe is the single most important contributor to fetal complications from vacuum delivery?
The single biggest contributor to complications associated with vacuum is a misplaced cup. As we mentioned before, it's utmost important that we get the cup over the flexion point. If the cup is placed 3 centimeters forward of the posterior fontanelle along the sagittal suture, it decreases the diameters of the fetal head to present to maternal pelvis. Thus, when the delivery is conducted, the least amount of force is used.
How can pop-offs be best avoided?
There are 3 techniques that can be used to decrease your pop-offs. Number 1 is proper placement over the flexion point. The second is using a non-pulling hand. The thumb should be placed on the back of the cup and the finger directly on the scalp. As traction is applied, the thumb provides counter traction to the cup itself, and the finger monitors this junction between the cup and the scalp, decreasing our chances of unwanted and inadvertent pop-offs. The last is pulling in the axis of the pelvis, which we've already described, and not getting in a hurry to pull up too soon.
How many pop-offs are too many?
It's a widely held belief that 3 pop-offs are safe for a vacuum delivery. It's my personal opinion that no pop-off is safe and thus should be avoided as best we can during the procedure. If it comes off once, I encourage people to stop and reassess why the cup may have come off. If it comes off a second time, I encourage people to abandon the procedure and move on to something else.
What is the 3-pull rule?
The three-pole rule has been long established. It was first established with forceps and operative vaginal deliveries. The first pole is to conduct flexion and descent of the fetal head. The second pole is the head should be on the pelvic floor. The third being that the baby is delivered or imminent. The problem is people interpret imminent differently. My interpretation of imminent is complete perineal distension. At that point, a fourth pole will most likely cause delivery of the fetal head. If it does not, adding a fifth or sixth pole just increases our chances of serious complications associated with these deliveries.
How should these poles be counted during the delivery?
Poles should be accounted according to the contraction, not the maternal effort. So it's important to understand with the mothers today who have so many epidurals that oftentimes they will give an effort for 10 or 12 seconds and stop to take a breath. Thus, we stop our pulling efforts. Then they begin pushing again. As they begin pushing, I'll begin pulling. But as long as that's within one contraction, that's still considered one pull and should not be counted as two.
What are your recommendations in terms of reducing vacuum pressure between contractions?
Outside of North America, they've never decreased pressure in between contractions. The idea was the less vacuum to the fetal head, less chance of causing injury. There's actually been only one randomized controlled trial that looked at decreasing pressure between contractions, and the results showed that there was no difference between those with maintained vacuum and those who decreased pressure in between. So it has now become my practice not to decrease pressure between contractions.
Some have reported vacuum is associated with a higher failure rate compared to forceps. Do you think this is technique related?
I think it is definitely technique related. I think it is directly attributed to technique. For many years, vacuum was thought to fail at a greater rate than forceps, and oftentimes that was because the concentration in true technique was focused on forceps. As forceps has fallen to the wayside and more people are using vacuum, we're seeing people using it more correctly, and that has increased the rate. In fact, the most recent literature using the vacuum and a maneuverable vacuum that allows you to get it on the flexion point shows a failure rate similar to what was originally reported by forceps.
So when would forceps be a better choice?
When used appropriately, the vacuum can be used in every indication that the forceps are used, with two unique and rare situations. The first being when there's a breech delivery and there's an aftercoming head. There are specially designed forceps called Piper forceps that can be used. The vacuum could not be used at that point. The second is in a rare situation where you get a face presentation. And the vacuum obviously cannot be applied to the flexion point when the baby is in that type of presentation in the pelvis, and thus should be avoided, and forceps have been used to deliver that type of infant.
Thank you, Dr. McQuibby, for joining me today in discussing vacuum-assisted delivery techniques.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Hello, Internet. This is Julie from ProjectJulie.com coming to you not nearly live from my son Evan's bedroom. I thought I'd try out this whole vlogging thing that all the cool kids are doing and see if anyone was interested in listening to me talk about stuff. And I thought, since we're in Evan's room and all, it would be cool to talk a little bit about one of my favorite things that he gets to take advantage of, which is subscription boxes. Since he was maybe 6 months old, we have subscribed to Citrus Lane, which is an amazing subscription box. Every month he gets a box and it's filled with 4 to 5 products, toys, books, puzzles, lotions, and soaps, plus a little something for mom. It runs $29 a month if you go on a month-to-month plan, but you can get it for cheaper by doing an annual subscription. Just recently we started subscribing to another box called Kiwi Crate. It's much smaller, but much cheaper. It runs about $19.95 a month, I believe, for the month-to-month plan, but you can also opt in to longer subscriptions to bring the cost down. And it has an added bonus of adding on when you have another child in the house for only $9.95 a month, so you can get double the stuff so both kids can play along. The boxes are pretty different. Citrus Lane has more products in it that you use, and Kiwi Crate is more about activities. And so I'm going to show you what's inside of each of these boxes real quick. So I just got today June's Citrus Lane box, and we'll open it up And everything inside is wrapped in this nice yellow paper. Whew. So I'm just gonna start pulling things out. On the top of each box, every month, there's a little note, a hello from Citrus Lane, and inside it tells you what each of the products are. So you get a list of all the products, a description of what they are, and oftentimes the manufacturer of each product will include a coupon code so you can get a great discount if you go to their website in the next month or so. So it looks like we've got some puzzles and activities and a little something special for Mom. First off, we've got this puzzle from Crocodile Creek. It says it's for 3+, but if you have a kid, you know that those things are notoriously inaccurate, because if my kid was still doing, you know, a pretty simple puzzle by the time he was 3, maybe it's time to think about something else we could be doing, because it's more to keep him from chewing on stuff than the actual, you know, mental faculties involved in doing it. Luckily, Evan loves construction vehicles. He's going to love this puzzle for a few months, and then he will get bored with it and we'll lose all the pieces and they will never make it back into this box again. But this is a cool looking puzzle. It looks like the pieces are pretty sturdy. The smallest piece size, it says, is 3 inches by 3 inches. So this could be used by much younger kids if they're under parent supervision, because you probably don't want kids gnawing on these puzzles. What else do we have? Ooh, we also have from Bumpkins a Disney Baby wet bag. We love wet bags. When Evan was younger, we cloth diapered. We don't anymore just because he pees a ton and we had tons of leaks. But we love wet bags for his lunch snacks, and so this is a good size bag that we could put a sandwich in and take to the park. And bonus, he loves Mickey Mouse ever since we went to Disneyland last January. So we've got this great wet bag that we can use for his lunch right now. So that's a gift for him and for Mom. We've also got this from Faber-Castell, this great activity book that comes with markers, which we'll have to remind him not to use on the wall. But this book is called Pet Pals, and let's see what's inside. Draw your own creepy crawly in the empty jar, coloring in a turtle, it looks like an iguana, playing with a dog. He will love this, and it looks like the pages tear out, so if you want to separate it from the book, that's great. It's got a storage case for the markers and a little handle so we can take it in the car or to the park where he loves to play. So this will be used a lot. Like I mentioned before, a lot of the boxes include some sort of lotion or bath time product, and so this month we got from Epicential, which they show up in a lot of Citrus Lane boxes. I would say every 2 or 3 months we get something from Epicential. This month we got bubble bath and shampoo, Peaceful Bubbles, so that sounds like it probably has lavender or calendula or something really soothing. What's great about Epicential is they're 100% natural, they're certified organic, they're plant-based, so they are really not going to hurt your kids. And on the back, they have all these handy icons that show all the things that they have. Like, they're allergy tested, the packaging is 100% recyclable, they're made with solar power, which is a bonus. They're reef safe, so if you live near the ocean and for some reason this container gets out in the trash, it's not going to harm the animals. So there's lots of great reasons to use these, and pediatricians recommend it. These are great products, and we've used a ton of them. We also often get snacks in the box, which is great because we discover new products that everyone really likes. And one of our favorite brands is Plum Organics, and they've got a coupon in the box for $1 off. But we also, looks like we got 2 samples of these Mighty 4 nutrition bars. So there's blueberry and strawberry, which are 2 of Evan's favorite fruits. And these are great to throw in his lunchbox or to throw in his diaper bag that we keep in the car. So we always have snacks when we're out shopping or going to the park or whatever it is. These will be great to have. And if he likes these, I guarantee that being able to try them will get me to buy them. Finally, the thing for Mom, and it's a postcard about this app called Third Love. I've heard of Third Love, but if you haven't, it's about getting measured for a bra, trying things on, and getting the perfect size so you can get a bra by mail instead of having to go into the store. And you know, sometimes the sizing is inconsistent and it's awkward because you have these skinny women checking out your mom body. So this is $20 off a $40 or more purchase, which is great. So you can try out the service and see if it's for you. But oftentimes there's makeup, there's lotions, there's all sorts of things that moms can use. So thank you, Citrus Lane, for including a little something for mom. So that's what's in our Citrus Lane box this month. Like I said, it's more product-based and less, activities in terms of being creative. So I'm going to set this box aside. Okay. Kiwi Crate is something totally different. Like I said, it's $19.95 a month, and the box is smaller, but the box is mighty. So I'm going to open it up, and every month is themed. So there's this little bird guide that says, let's go on an adventure. And this month's theme is camping. So in this crate, there are the tools to make your own campfire to roast marshmallows, and then the tools to decorate a sunprint backpack. So it looks like we're going to be getting outside and making a cute little backpack. Now, Kiwi Crate is intended for kids who are 3 to 7 years old. Evan's a little young, but I wanted to start doing more activities with him, so it was less about stuff, less about toys. So if you pull out that little cover on the Kiwi Crate box, there's usually these sort of paper figures that you can cut out and use. They talk to each other, and every box has a sticker in it, so you can collect the stickers for each month. And so this month is the sticker is a little camping birdie, so that's really nice. We've also got a travel journal, so Evan can record his summer adventures, or mom can, but it's got little rebus-based stories in there, drawing activities, learning a secret code, which is really cool. Backseat bingo, so you can play in the car, and if you see a one-way sign or a tractor, you can mark it off on here. So great activities to have around. This is probably a little old for Evan. This is something that we can hold on to and use in the future. So this is nice to have, even if we can't use it right now. Each month, there's also this little magazine related to the theme, and so it includes bonus activities, and things that they can do, letters that people have sent to Kiwi Crate, resources for parents, all sorts of fun things. So there's a little scavenger hunt that's the additional activity, ideas to get you started about drawing a campsite and thinking about the theme for the month, and that sort of thing. So versus the adventure journal, which is more general, this is specifically related to the theme for the month. So then we get to the nitty-gritty, the materials for the 2 projects. And they have these little booklets that have, I'm going to open it one-handed, that have the instructions for how to do the activity. So you can see the backpack that we're going to make, all the materials that we need, and then the instructions for how to do it. Pretty cool. So I've got instructions and materials for my sunprint backpack and my glowing campfire, which is going to be made out of cardboard and rocks, not an actual fire, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind eating actual marshmallows at some point, even though the ones in the box are cotton balls. Now there is a little extra bonus in here. We used to get this service called Nature Box, which sends you snacks every month that are organic and allergy friendly and all sorts of other things. And we decided to cancel it because we could never eat them, but we never finish them every month. But it looks like we got a sample of a fruit medley, which Evan loves fruit, so this will go right into that snack backpack, plus a coupon for a free box from Nature Box. We might have to try it again, and a recipe using the fruit medley so we can make our own camping trail mix. So it all ties into that camping theme, which is really cool. And then underneath all of that are, as everything falls off the table, are the supplies for our projects. They do not skimp on the supplies. Every month there's supplies. So paint pins for decorating our backpack, and the rocks for our campfire. Literally everything we need. Clay for our campfire. You know, it's got all the stuff we need in here. It's great. Here's the little backpack that's this sun-sensitive fabric, which is super cool, and Evan's gonna love this because it's a kid-sized backpack. And then down in the bottom of the box, because they really want you to use everything in here. I mean, glue stick, like the materials in this box will last long after the project. Down in here, you can cut up the box. See, there's a little camping scene. So every month there's a little scene inside the box related to the theme for the month, and then you use your little characters from the top sheet to put them in the box and make, you know, your diorama. So your kids could color this in, and then this box could sort of sit on their shelf and be a toy that they play with forever. So Kiwi Crate, you get a lot of bang for your buck. We have thought about actually canceling our Citrus Lane subscription because we feel like Evan is aging out of it a little, and it's, you know, the toys are a little more babyish, and there are more toys versus activities, and we really want him to start to learn about experiences rather than stuff. So you might get a lot of mileage out of Citrus Lane, and we still love Citrus Lane as an idea. We give it as a gift to friends, and they love it, and so it's really great. But I think Evan is getting ready to move on to something more activity-based. So that was this month's Citrus Lane box and Kiwi Crate, and I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing what's in those boxes, you know, living vicariously through me and my spendy habits. And hopefully, if you are looking for something like this for your kid, maybe one of these boxes will fit the bill. So I was very chatty, and I hope you enjoyed me chatting. I hope I didn't talk too fast. And we'll see if I can get better at this whole vlogging thing the next time I do it. But until then, farewell from Evan's room.
¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Os apetece un helado? Pues hoy en la cocina de Alimerca vamos a preparar helado casero y como ingrediente estrella vamos a utilizar kiwi asturiano de la marca Sabrosona, que podéis encontrar en vuestro supermercado Alimerca. Los ingredientes que necesitamos son 6 kiwis, 150 gramos de azúcar y 250 gramos de nata para montar. Esta receta de helado es muy sencilla, simplemente vamos a tener que triturar juntos todos los ingredientes. Para que os quede un helado bien cremoso, lo más importante sería meterle aire a la masa, pero como no todos tenemos heladera en casa, pues lo vamos a hacer de forma manual. Durante la primera hora de congelado del helado, lo podéis sacar cada 10-15 minutos de la nevera. Cuanto más veces lo saquéis va a ser mejor, os va a quedar más cremoso. Y lo batís bien con un tenedor, o si queréis meterle las varillas eléctricas también. El caso es meterle aire a la mezcla para que no genere cristales de hielo. Pues ya sin más vamos a triturar con la batidora todos los ingredientes. El kiwi, el azúcar y vamos a añadirle la nata. Le vamos a poner nata porque la grasa también nos va a ayudar a que el helado sea más cremoso. Y ya está, ya lo podemos triturar todo. Bueno, pues ya tenemos esto bien triturado y vamos a pasarlo al molde. Y ya está, nos lo llevamos al congelador y recordad, durante la primera hora cada poco lo sacáis y lo batís bien para meterle aire a la mezcla. Ya lleva 10 minutos el helado en el congelador, vamos a hacer el primer batido. Está todavía bastante líquido. Sin más, lo voy a hacer con un tenedor. Cada 10-15 minutos lo batimos así, igual que si fuera una tortilla, y vais a ir viendo a medida que va pasando más o menos la primera hora, cómo se va quedando ya más cremoso y va cogiendo cuerpo. Vamos ya a sacar el helado del congelador y vais a ver ahora mismo lo cremoso que queda. El único truco, como ya os dije antes, batir, batir y batir durante la primera hora cada 10 minutos. Es lo más importante. Mirad. Además, es precioso con las semillas del kiwi, queda súper bonito. Ahí. Ya veis que no hace falta una heladera para tener un helado súper cremoso en casa. Espero que os guste esta receta y no os olvidéis que en la cocina de alimerca.com podéis encontrar esta y muchas más. Nos vemos pronto. Chao.